Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, October 9th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see down here will still be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, RIVN. And did this one yesterday, talked about how it's a relatively popular stock, got beat down, and I threw that trend line into place thinking, you know what, keep an eye on that trend line. If the price can break through it, you could get a nice little move. And so far, so good. Price finally did break above that red line right there. And has it exploded? I would definitely not use that word, but it has started to grind itself upwards, which now leads into the next important question. Okay, it's broken. It's starting to move higher. Is this the start of something much bigger? Is this breakout, truly healthy? And a good way to answer that question in terms of is this move healthy, at least in my opinion, is let's just see if the price can start to make signs of progress, because nothing can go straight up, but as long as the price makes progress, and that is a good sign. And right there at $18.10, I'm going to call the progress point, because while I'm not saying this will occur, but let's say the price comes down here, behaves in that manner, and then starts to curl back upwards. Now, emphasis here on the big picture. From the bigger picture standpoint, what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have a low right there. And if you envision those as stair-steps, you now have stair-steps making progress in the upwards direction. Again, that's what a truly strong move is going to do. So moving forward, as long as the price can stay up above $18.10, in my opinion, that is a good sign that this trendline breakout has not only maintained its strength, but continues to build upon it. In terms of next key levels of resistance, main battleground now to watch moving into next week, going to be right up there around $19.40. So keep an eye on that dynamic. But all in all, got the trendline break, got some slight move to the upside. So let's see if the price can build upon this momentum next week. Next one here, AMD, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but if you have, then you know I've talked about that 104 mark, that red line there, time and time again. But you can see this morning came up, rejected, and then, well, it's hard to see, but right there actually got rejected on its first attempt. Second attempt right there, you can see, got the break, and the rest is history. Very, very impressive move. So that's going to be the first update, and this is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward now, from more of an overarching standpoint, 104.40 going to be considered that main area of support. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, got to squeeze things down here quite a bit. I know it's a bit harder to see now, but that is a good problem to have when you have to go back this far into a chart's history. So next key area of resistance right up there at 108.80. So if you go back through the history of things, you can see that right here presented some problems. So if the price does continue on up, keep an eye at 108.80. But all in all, very, very impressive day for AMD. Next one, PRZO. Pretty wild day today. I mean, to think that just yesterday this thing was down here in the 60-cent range, and then this morning went up almost to $1.50 before pulling back. But the pullback here is what makes this interesting, because, and this will mean a bit more to those who have traded for a while, but if you have, I'm sure you've seen stocks that gap up, make big moves, and then they start to drop and drop and drop, and then they keep dropping and they go right back to where they started, the typical gap and trap. But that was not the case here. The price did pull back, sure, but when it reached that very, very important level, that pink line, which on my chart represents the famous 200 period moving average, you can see that level did a beautiful job of acting as support. I mean, just time and time again, the price just bounced right off that level, including that 30-minute candle right there where you got the bigger move up, which is where we segue into the next part. And now we have a very interesting little sideways channel pattern with a well-defined breakout point right up there at $1.25. By no means am I saying that $1.25 is the great discovery on my part. In my opinion, a lot of people are watching it. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So are there guarantees? Absolutely not. But is it plausible to think that if the price comes up here and then can get the break of that level, that break could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So definitely keep a close eye on $1.25 next week. Next one here, PLTR, and like AMD, well, let's be fair, the markets had a very, very impressive day today, but overall, good solid breakout here through that area of resistance. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that because now I want to focus on a couple different dynamics here, and the first dynamic here just being the pattern that has formed today. So we have that resistance trend line right there, and then as far as the bottom part of the pattern is concerned, we have that area right there. So we have our resistance and support. So let me make this all the same color, hopefully make it easier to see. So again, resistance, support, Very, very big move up today. And then for you golfers out there, I'll make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. So this would be a bull pennant pattern. So again, by no means is this some sort of great discovery. A lot of people watching it, so it goes back to that same talking point. When a lot of people are watching the same pattern, wondering the same thing, it guarantees nothing, but it certainly makes it plausible that if the price can push through the upside of this pattern, that break in and of itself could get and create good solid buying pressure. So if you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on PLTR. Next one here, AMC, and been talking about this one quite a bit. And specifically yesterday, I talked about how, yesterday individually, not a great day. But I also mentioned, however, from a bigger picture point of view, the chart was still fine because it was still maintaining those areas of support. And then today you got the follow through. So for anybody that bought that pullback, a big congratulations because you got paid very much so today. So more of the story, I'm just going to go ahead and delete these lines. Sure, they still pertain to the chart. They're just not relevant right now. And from a presentation standpoint, I don't want to risk causing confusion and clutter because there's lines everywhere. So let's just map out a couple of newer and more relevant levels. So the newest level that I would call an area of support right there at $8.80. And again, same general idea. That was an area of resistance going into today, but with the price breaking above it, you would expect it to act as resistance. And that is exactly what happened. So, you could throw this right into a textbook. Resistance, price broke above it, then pulled back, behaved as support, and then got the move upwards. So truly, as cliche as saying it as is, you could literally throw this into a textbook if you were writing one on, technical analysis. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, actually, I'm a little curious. Is this by anything else right now? Now, as you can see here, it is, it's been a long time since the price has been up this high, several weeks. So really, it's just a question of where did the party finally stop today? And the party finally stopped right up there at $9.43, right at that level there. So nothing fancy behind that logic. Literally just a question of where did the price finally, experience some resistance where it went back down. So 943 will be that main area heading into next week. But all in all, very, very nice close to the week here for AMC. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here in a couple weeks. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and to manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching on my site, there's an area right there on the webpage. One special note, if you don't want to wait for 2 weeks, if you want to just see it now, I've done past classes, so if you just want to see a recording of it, in other words, you don't really care if it's live or not, then send me an email, clay@clayjar.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link where you can go and watch one of the previous classes, because again, I realize some people just don't care if it's live or not. So if that's you and you don't want to have to wait, then like I said, go ahead and drop me an email. Next one here at TSLA Tesla. Overall, a good day, but I think a lot of people are probably going to be disappointed because when you stop and think about PLTR, AMD, those things were breaking through key areas of resistance, but this one, it hasn't broken through any sort of key areas of resistance. And it did start behind the 8 ball with this big gap down. And again, sure, today in and of itself, very, very nice recovery back upwards. But when you take a step back and compare it to some of these other tech stocks, it's still struggling with that red line, which I've talked about in past videos, right up there at 262.50. So I don't want to come across and say that it was a train wreck of a day for Tesla. I'm just saying I think there's probably some disappointed people when they're looking around and seeing stocks breaking through resistance levels. And then here, Tesla was needing to spend the entire day basically recovering from that gap down there. But with all that being said, that does make a very interesting technical setup next week, as the price is now well within striking distance of the 262.50 mark. So you got to think that a lot of people are probably wondering, can the price get up there? And if it does, will it break? And when a lot of eyeballs are watching that level, you certainly have a very plausible scenario of a self-fulfilling prophecy where people buy just because it's breaking out. Next one here, TTOO. Very, very impressive move today. And in fact, as I speak right now, you can see this thing is flirting up there with those highs. So who knows, maybe this thing pushes to highs as I talk. Then again, the market closes in 2 minutes. So probably going to close right around that area. But as far as areas of support are concerned, maybe you know where we're going to head with this. But yes, keep an eye on that pink line there, 200 period moving average. Another classic example of a resistance right there now behaving as support. So keep an eye on that moving forward. If there are any sort of pullbacks, that'll be the ideal level. From more so a big picture overarching level, the main area that you'd want to see hold above is that purple line. I realize it's irrelevant right now because it's so far down there, but that is a moving average, meaning as time goes by, that line will move higher and higher and get more and more relevant. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, we got to squeeze things down here because it's been a while since it's been up in this portion of the chart. So next key area of resistance right up there at the 28-cent mark. This is coming from back here where it was an area of resistance. Whoops, purple, not a great choice. Was an area of resistance. Price fell below it. Went to acting as or excuse me, was the area of support. Price fell below it, acted as resistance. So if the price goes back up to that area, that's where the question mark arises. Is the price going to have enough strength to push up through that area? But anyway, look at it. Very, very impressive way to end the week. So we'll see if this momentum carries into next week. Next one here, AAPL, Apple. And this is another example of what I mean relative to Tesla. Apple here came up here, broke very nicely through that key area of resistance that I talked about before. Not only did it break it, it just kept going and going and going. So overall, very nice day for Tesla. So you know what I'm going to do here. This was an area of resistance, but now that it's been broken, this needs to now be considered. Did I not? Now be considered an area. There we go, an area of support. So 176.15 was resistance, but with the price above it, now considered an area of support. And then I'll continue to keep an eye on these moving averages there, especially that purple line, which I just talked about. But here's a great example. I mean, check out how the price has respected that purple line. I mean, our chart's perfect. They're not perfect, but they're certainly a very valuable tool. Once more, I realize this purple line's way down here, but as time goes by, that moving average will move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. As far as areas of resistance, as has been the case because, today was such a strong day around the market, got to squeeze things down here a little bit. But next, or maybe I lied. No, the price is essentially doing battle with that area right there at 177.90. If you go back here, you can see that was a top. There it is with that purple again. It was a top part of that area right there. And that's essentially right where the price struggled today. So as I zoom back in, just realize that that's where that red line came into play. So right there, 177.90 will be public enemy number one. But all in all, anyway, look at it. Very nice day here for Apple. Next one here, SQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market, but reversed around, meaning if you believe that the NASDAQ market is going to have a bad day, this one will go up. But if the NASDAQ market has a good day, this one will go down. So that is why this thing got absolutely destroyed today, because the NASDAQ had a very, very good day. But it does create a very interesting situation because this is a very popular ETF. And this last 30 minutes here is what you got to think people are wondering about. Okay, last 30 minutes, nice little green candle. Is this a leading indicator of some sort of bottom? Or is this thing just going to take a pause and continue on down, which again would imply that the NASDAQ is doing very well. But if this thing does bounce, that implies that the NASDAQ is actually doing poorly. So that'll be the main dynamic here. And just from a technical standpoint, brutal day as it just shattered down below that pink line, which you now know is the 200 period moving edge. And now just out of curiosity, when was the last time the price was down below that area? Last time price was down below there, way back in basically earlier September. So it has been multiple weeks since the price has been down below that pink line there, which just shows how brutal of a day it was. If there are any sort of attempted recoveries, in my opinion, the big problem point now will be that key area of support, because now it's a key level of resistance. But overall, brutal day, almost straight down. But that final candle right here, interesting. We'll see if that is a leading indicator of any sort of bounce or not early next week. Last one here, as always, ticker symbol TQQQ, and now we have the exact opposite situation. If you believe the NASDAQ market is going to have a good day, this one will go up. If it's a bad day, this one will go down. But because the NASDAQ had a very good day, this one also had a very good day. And first I'm going to do is just get rid of these lines as they've served their purpose for now and are not really relevant. And this will mean way more to those of you that have watched past videos, but if you have, then hopefully remember me talking about that resistance trend line right there. And look at, and because I also talked about the pink line, the 200 period moving average, but look at the time when it broke above it. Both of these happen to be essentially the same exact value, yet the price did not care, broke through it, and that just kept on grinding and grinding. I mean, if there was a spot where I thought a rejection could very well happen, right there was the spot. But that's also why risk management matters, because there is no such thing as a perfect situation. As perfect as that looked, like I said, the bulls did not care and just went right through it. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it's also served its purpose. And as far as supports are concerned, I realize I'm repeating myself, but that's just what type of day it was today. A lot of resistances getting converted into supports, and that's no different here. That pink line now would be considered an area of support if there is any sort of pullbacks. As far as resistance levels are concerned, yeah, is it that gap close location? Yes, I'm talking to myself right now, right? Yeah, wow, almost right on the T. So right here, that low was at 37.70. Where did it get rejected? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Look at that. Right there at that gap close location. So a classic example of the power of charts. But 37.70, now going to be that main battleground moving forward. But yeah, anyway, look at it. Monster day here today. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used, then definitely get signed up for that free class. Like I said, it'll be a couple weeks, Thursday, October 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Or like I said earlier, if you don't care about it being live and you just want to see it right now, go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to that replay. But if you do want to make it live, then yeah, just go get signed up. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these videos, please do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching next week. But those two things help out the channel. They help out these videos. And as long as I know that people are enjoying these videos, I'll put in the time and effort to get this content out to you. So hit that like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.